Okay. All right. Let's see if this is live now. Mago Dimelo. Okay, we are live. Sweet. What's happening? Quick with it. Real quick with it. I love it. All right. Let's get into it. All right, I'm just sharing everywhere that we're live, so give me a few, fam. In the meantime, what's up? What's good with everybody? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. What's up, Manuel? What's up, Zoe? Kev? Park City plugged in. I love it. All right, here, let me drop this link in a few places. Plugged in. All right, y'all hopping on quick. All right, so let's do this right off the rip. What do you guys have in store? What setups would you like for me to look at? I have a few in mind. We're going to be looking at the usual suspects. You guys already know that. All right, here, drop that there. We got this going on here. Buenas noches, ¿qué tal, José? All right, boom. All right, one more, and then we're good to go, fam. Buenas noches. Oh, y'all were ready for this one. Y'all were ready. I see you. Okay. Man, what a week it's been already. It's only Monday, but I feel like this year is just off to such a good start, honestly. Saludos, Elian. All right, what's up? So, actually, do I have the ability to share my camera? Let's see. I've got a new setup right now, so we may. All right, we'll be good to go with the camera. I think next week. Whatever. We'll just get into it. Y'all care about the markets, not my face, anyway. So, so that's all good. All right. What's up? Hola, Mike. Viviendo en Estados Unidos. No te olvides que mirar futuros después de todo el MT4 y MT5. También se puede ser ambos todavía. Solo depende con quién operas, con cuál es tu broker. Pero yo sí manejo. Yo he manejado futuros por años. Did I get a bad haircut? Nah, no chance. You don't know my barber. How dare you? How dare you, man? That audacity is crazy. All right. So let's have a good look at what the week is waiting for. This way you are all ready for a week of volatility and value. No sé cuál sigue permitiendo MT5. Hay algunos los que están regulados puedes, entonces como Oanda, forex.com, esos sí tienen MT5. Hay otros por ahí, por allá, normalmente no duran por mucho tiempo, pero sí, esos dos sí se puede hacer. Igualmente, no tienes que... las otras plataformas son fáciles de aprender, entonces no te preocupes. All right, so, La sesión en español va a ser después de esta, entonces aquí no se preocupen. So we have honestly mostly dollar movement here. I swear we had. Okay, so they moved unemployment claims. That's interesting. Really, really interesting. They actually moved unemployment claims to Wednesday. Why would they do that? That's very interesting. So I'm gonna look into that because that's a little bit out of the ordinary. Usually we have that Thursday. This here usually is on Thursday, an hour before New York Open, and it was like that, I believe, as of Friday. So for some reason, this has moved into this slot, and I feel like that is intentional. What's up, Eric? Good to see you, man. I feel like that's intentional. So I think this news event will be very important, and it might set up FOMC. Now, remember, this FOMC is not the extremely volatile meeting minutes. Then you have the interest rates and the press conference. This is what we see 3 weeks after the big one. This is more of a recap, so not a big deal. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that this was moved. So a little out of the ordinary. I'm curious. I feel like we still might have Thursday New York session volatility, and it'll just kind of come as a surprise is kind of the vibe that I'm feeling right now. So either way, guys, we have another full week of momentum, a lot of opportunity. And the biggest one right off the rip is going to be CHF CPI. These CPI fundamentals, these high impact news events, these are ones that come with a lot of volatility. So I would be looking forward to something like this. We can definitely get some pretty nice action with this. So let's definitely take a look at some CHF pairs. I know it's a little out of the ordinary. I don't know how many of you normally trade CHF, so you're probably like, I don't even think I'm going to be dealing with that. And let me know actually here in the chat, how many of you are going to be trading London session? How many normally trade London session? Type of London in the chat if that's a session you normally trade. And then drop Asian session if that's your usual, and then drop a New York if that's what you normally trade. So let me see what you guys are doing here. But we can dive in a little bit on CHF. It'll be quick. Then we'll get into indices. We'll get into the majors. And then we'll get into some gold, a little bit of crypto. And we'll dive into all of that. So I am going to do a quick look at CHF just because, only because we do have high impact news, and it's CPI specifically. So it can be relatively beneficial. Okay. Right now, I mean, looking at odd CHF, it's been in a bullish trend for the last, I'd say, 3 weeks or so. So we have been moving our way up. Now, if we zoom out some more, as you guys can see, the market has been in a downtrend on the bigger time frame. So we've actually done a pretty good job at working our way back up into this imbalance. So that looks great. The market may have, it kind of looks like it finished rebalancing, and then it immediately dropped. However, as quick as this came down, we also started to kind of work our way up to close the day. So the daily candle, not super great, not terrible, but we definitely have a little bit of movement. So, but the thing is, on the daily, we do get all the way down to this imbalance. So it might be time for this to move its way up. And also on the higher time frames, you will notice we do have liquidity here. So we may be in a good buyer's market here for AUD CHF. Now, what I would continue to think about is the structure. Higher highs, higher lows. You kind of see a nice dip down here before the market then rallies. So this could be a place for some buy opportunities right over here. The market then pops up again. We're trading up here. We do work our way down, but it's not a full imbalance fill. So there might be a chance we might get a nice little reversal right off of here. So this is a shot. So most of you are trading New York session. I think there's one of you that are trading London. So I'm not going to spend too much time on the CHF setups anyways then, considering that most of you probably won't even be up to trade this. But I did want to just keep this, put this on your radar that you do have some CHF movement. We did see a nice pump here during New York session before everything came and worked its way down. However, we don't really see like a higher time frame change of structure. This is definitely a smaller time frame. We traded below here for a few hours and then actually really to end New York session, and now with Asian session we've worked our way up again. So I mean, there is a shot. There's a chance that you could get a pretty decent sell with AUD CHF here, and I think we'll have a better idea at the end once we've kind of analyzed the majority of the CHF setups. So as of right now, possible sells, possible buys, have these marked up, and I'll come back to this if this does make sense to be the most likely to play out. As of right now, we're going to just kind of have this in our radar. So let me just quickly scroll through the rest and then we can come back to this. Okay, so that's odd CHF. CAD CHF, not really the better setups or anything. This is kind of pretty average. You do see a sweep above here, a very small, this is like a pip. Not the most for me. I think, yeah, I'm not in love with that. CHF, JPY, we got a nice spike down before this just started to pop off. So this looks like it's got some potential. Right here. Nice sweep down, and then this rips. This, I'm not sure if it's CHF or if this is JPY, but yeah, this is a good move. This is a very good volatile moment. Let me just double check CHF JPY with another data feed just to make sure that that's like a normal movement. Yeah, it is. So, okay. So yeah, CHF JPY, nice spike down, gets below, previous structures. And then, we're now seeing higher highs for the last couple hours. So this is not bad. This is not bad at all. CHF JPY with some potential. Okay, I love it. I know, out of the usual, out of the normal. Man, I gotta keep track of all these. I'm not on my computer, so let me pull up something else, and then I'll be able to put all these in a note and then drop these. Hold on a second. Actually, I'm going to just drop them in here. All right, so here's CHF JPY, and then there's the link. That's definitely not the link. Hold on. Let's do this one more time. Switching back and forth from like Windows to Apple and like the buttons, the commands and all this is just so funny. Is that not the... Man, I'm tripping. Okay. All right, this should not work. All right, CHF JPY. Here is the... There you go. Boom. All right. There's the first one. From there, Euro CHF, interesting. We got a nice sweep down. We fill some imbalance. The market then, during London session, we get a lot of movement. I think this has to do more with the Euro. And then we've just worked our way up, squeezed sideways. So, yeah, this looks okay. The market slowly works its way lower and pulls up one more time, then drops. So here's another idea you could consider. Again, when I send out these ideas, it doesn't mean buy all of them. It means you have opportunities here, but you want to keep in mind the entire market. You want to keep in mind, like how do these relate to one another? You can't just take your shot at everything. You could, but it's probably not going to give you the best results. So here's just a few of them. I know CHF is going to have quite a bit of volatility, so I want to give you guys some options that just make sense. And then we can go from there. So like NZD CHF, similar to odd CHF, where it kind of has a push down here, January 2nd, and then it goes. So it's pretty similar. You kind of see it dip from here and then run. So I'm going to give you guys a very similar idea here on NZD CHF. Okay, so we're just running through CHF just because I just know the majority of you aren't going to end up taking any of these anyways. Where are we at? Okay. And then, honestly, USD CHF is probably, out of all of these, the ones that I'd have a better chance of taking. Not much going on right now, so I'm chilling. And then, yeah, then we go back to odd CHF here. So this is the one that's odd CHF and NZD CHF. They're very similar. I would just keep in mind, how they're both moving. And then, again, for me, the go-to idea is once you kind of can tell which one of these which one of these pairs are, getting to this key zone. Some of them are going to get to the zones really quickly. Those are the ones that are most likely to not survive the structure. And so, for example, if we wanted to, let's say, I'll just give you guys an example with NZD CHF and odd CHF. So here we can see a couple different options. Apparently that's not the chart. Which one would it be? Okay, so if you look at this here, these are pretty similar. You have the sweep of the low and then the continuation. So then now the idea is, well, which one should we trade? Odd CHF or NZD CHF? And the biggest thing, in my opinion, to keep in mind is just how are they working their way to the level? When the market gets back to this zone, if odd CHF gets into this area and NZD CHF is still kind of lagging behind, it still needs more room to drop, then I would wait for NZD CHF and take that one instead. So this is kind of the strategy that we're going to use to understand what's going to be the best opportunity, the one that's most likely to stay within the structure. So something to keep in mind there with anything that you trade. We can apply this to, whatever, any pairs, any assets. I use this heavy when I'm trading indices as well. Bless you. So, okay, CHF, take care of that. Now, the majority of the week, we're going to get dollar pair movement, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and even Thursday. There's no longer a red folder, high impact news, but it should be a day that still carries more than enough volume, okay? So, more than enough volume there. So, definitely keep this in mind. All right, so when you see this, the good thing about this too is that indices will be doing their thing the whole time. And guys, for everybody that's on right now, if you have a pair you want me to look at, or an indice, anything, just let me know. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. All right. So from here, let's go take a look at some majors. Let's see what this market's. Let's see what's cooking over here. So we got some explosive movement. AUD, the dollar lost a ton of strength during London session, and everything started to just absolutely pump. So we saw AUD, USD finally just pop off, rebalance just to melt away. So this drops right away. Like there's just it just catches so many buyers up here. People that wanted to run with momentum, they just get absolutely smoked once this comes and works its way all the way back down. So, it is what it is. No, we didn't take anything here. We weren't focused on AUD USD. So, it's kind of bound to happen. But yeah, came into this, filled in balance, played off a little bit of order blocks here, and then boom, all the way down, which is cool. Not a big deal. Now, the setups that were interesting, though, were at the time, it was kind of taking a look at, well, what could work? Is it going to be, what buy would work out here? And what ended up happening was they all kind of ended up playing out, except for the one that I was waiting for. So Euro never came into my buy zone. It's the pair that kind of held the bullish structure best. It came down and it played off of these previous levels of resistance, but you know, it didn't quite close out the sell-off before it ran. And the first of the bunch that did truly mitigate was GU. So GBP USD came into the zone. It played right out of here right away at around, this was like 15 minutes before New York Open. And at the same time, the reason I think GBP USD this really worked and it didn't break through was because the rest of the dollar pairs just respected the previous high. So the structure held pretty well. And then once we got that bounce, if you look across the board, the bounce that we got with GU was very bullish, very aggressive. So when these other pairs started to work their way down, GU held this up extremely, extremely well. So this is why I was really waiting for Euro. I thought Euro was going to be the pair that was going to get back into the zone and then play out of this area again. And it really hasn't. So we'll kind of wait and see what happens here. But I think that's still a possibility, in my opinion. If you look, Euro hasn't gotten to that area, right? We didn't get to where we swept these lows and then ran. And the rest of them did. And so we'll kind of see where we go with everything. You know, I still think Euro USD is much more bullish than, you know, the rest of these pairs. So we'll kind of wait and see what we see there. I haven't looked at Euro odd yet. I can, but not yet. Did you guys see a setup there? Yeah, if you guys have a setup there, I haven't looked at your odd in a bit, so chilling. Okay. So from here, what do we have? Now, I know some of you that were on the live stream in the morning, I know some of you sent me this idea. I think Corey was one of them, but massive wick into the zone, just played off of this sell-off, and then easy movement. I mean, you're looking at like a good like 8R. So that's a great play. I was not paying attention to this. But yeah, this was awesome. And that basically put us at equal highs up here too. So I do think we can probably run up again and see something play out of the zone. And honestly, if you look at USD CAD did sweep and then work its way up here. Traded up here for a few hours, obviously lost momentum as time has gone by. But there's definitely motive for price to come over here. There's liquidity over here for sure. So there's retail sellers definitely adding up positions in the zone. Same thing even here if you wanted to mark up liquidity just through all of this. There's just tons of retail sells in general, tons of retail selling. And you have this sweep here before the market runs. So there's a chance that we may still get another push down and then rally. This is a possibility. I am taking a look at this and kind of just gauging where we're at overall. And so I still think, I mean, there's motive for this to go even lower as well. That's not out of question. But we might get a good bounce out of here. Now, the only reason this isn't the best setup is because when this works its way down and up, it doesn't quite get and give us higher highs. We don't really trade higher. This actually loses momentum and ends up closing down here. So we kind of end up still staying at a more of a bearish price action than coming back up into this zone. So because we don't get that bullish structure, I'm not so sold on this idea quite yet. Now, who is the savage that caught USD/JPY? If you were to scale in, though, as it got closer, there could have been some profit from that area. I like how you look at things. Which setup? Could it still go bullish? Which one are you talking about? UCAD? Yeah, I'm sure you'll let me know here soon. But this was a textbook, guys. We had liquidity, the sweep. It goes bullish. We do fill imbalance here. So once we get back and see some of these imbalance fills, a lot of people, retail, smart money included, they kind of just figure that this is done moving and this is just going to go bullish. But the reality is, one, there's more imbalance, and two, there's an open sell position right here. So that's why we see such a quick lightning strike here. And these are the majority of my setups. Is a lot of, like, you know how people say, like, oh, don't try to catch a falling knife. That's me. I'm a knife catcher. And it is what it is. It's like the setup is there. This is one of my most textbook setups. It could be falling off the face of the earth, and yeah, I'm gonna catch it. And it's not because I'm looking to, just catch the reversal. Oh, it just dropped so much. Let me, it's got to come back. That's not the point. The point is that the market is just aggressively targeting a price where there are positions open which carry a lot of money. And so USD/JPY was one of these examples. For those of you that trade with me in the mornings, indices, I mean, guys, how many times have we done it? How many times have the market dropped for 300 points free fall and we catch it? We just snipe it. So, yeah, it's not really an unusual entry model for us by any means. But yeah, anyone that caught this, bravo. Again, I was not paying attention to this at 7 in the morning here. I was waiting for gold and didn't quite get to where I wanted it to get to. Silver mitigated, and I think that's why gold fell a little short. Silver gave the play right there. Same time, we saw silver rebalance very well, where gold didn't quite get as low. It just kind of played off the structure here. Scared of indices? How come? Why are you scared? Is it, I mean, if you're trading live, then depending on who you have a broker with, sometimes, depending on your account size and the broker, it might be a little bit too much risk depending on what you're trading with. So that's part of it. But I definitely think it's worth demoing. It's worth for you to demo and just get because you can get a lot of good practice, and that's why I really like it. You can just get such quality practice on the setups, on the movements, and it'll be, incredible price action. So, for example, I called out this sell up here. Who caught this sell with me? I call this one out to all you guys who are part of the community. We sniped this one. We caught a good, what was it, like 150 points, something like that. And then I was driving, so I wasn't able to send out the buy to you guys, but we talked about the NAS or US 30 buy as well. The volatility, yeah, it's quick. It's quick for sure. Absolutely. So some of these ideas with indices, remember, some of these we're going to get small time frame entries and exits. Other ones, you're going to be playing out of higher time frames as well. But some of the easiest ones you can kind of see really well on the 1 hour. And then you can zoom in and catch other ones. So, for example, what was it? I think it was yesterday. No, it was a Friday. Yeah. So Friday, for example, Friday was a really nice setup on NASDAQ. And this is for multiple reasons. So NAS played out super nice because, one, we had this happen. So Friday, pre-New York open, we saw a sweep of the low, clears up. It fills in some imbalance, clears up some buyers, and then makes higher highs. The market trades up and above for a couple hours. And then, but the reason that I went with this buy wasn't just because of NASDAQ. Yes, it came exactly to where we had a sell-off and then the continuation of the structure. But at the exact same time, we had US 30 at the exact same time. This movement, this liquidity sweep with US 30 where it swept a whole bunch of retail buyers, this sweep right here gave us the play. So when the market swept here and at the exact same time in the same exact instant, the same exact seconds, we went specifically to the exact same area. Oof. That was like all of the stars aligned for this play, and we rode this out all the way up to here. So, you have ideas that happen on smaller time frames that you can take really at any time. You have ideas that play out on higher time frames, etc. Like this one that we ended up taking to like right here. This is a pretty good play. I think this was like what, 3.5R? Yeah, so this was a great play. And also, even this sell, guys, the reason that I felt pretty good about this idea was not just because of Nas. Nas was playing out and there was this setup, but we waited, right? I waited for this to get into our zone, and I only sent this out once, surprise correlation, secret correlation, once Bitcoin came into its mitigation zone. So Bitcoin actually ended up finding a reversal area that I had marked up here. So this 19th of December sweep of the high and then move down, I was expecting that push down here. And so when everything was in alignment, Bitcoin where it could mitigate, NASDAQ, etc., then it was game time. That's when I was like, all right, perfect. We can now sell NAS because it all came together. And same thing with US30. But either way, they really be smoking retailers. Yeah. I mean, it's a combination of two things. There's incentive for retail to get in, and they support does work sometimes, resistance does work sometimes. I just prefer to be on the other side, right? I prefer to kind of decipher when there's enough retail money in and when we can get swept and we stay out of the market. And then for me, it's like, all right, well, here are the positions, right? Here is the easy, smart money position that we could take. And honestly, guys, I mean, I think we might have a setup right now, which is weird time for Nas plays. But, and we can look at other indices just to confirm and see if we have anything else. But, I mean, right now, here, I'm pulling up the 1 minute on Nas. But Nas here, in reality, like this is where we see a sell-off. The market comes into this zone, gets just lightly below, not too much, and then absolutely rips. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if we get a little bit lower and maybe we see a play out of the zone. So that's a possibility. And we can take a look at, let's say, US30. So US30 also, we saw a move here. So check this out. US30 here had the, it's not really as great. It gets below, but then it gets really choppy, and then we kind of start to move on up. So it's not really as nice, and we don't really go and flip our trend by any means either. So, I'm not super in love with this idea. I think Nas looks quite a bit better. Nas definitely had a sweep of the low. The market, worked its way higher, and yeah, I think we can get a little bit lower here, and this might happen during Asian session or London session. So I'll keep an eye on there. I'll let you guys know if I end up taking a position here, but it is looking pretty decent. So yeah, there might be a Nas play here. And then, so where in this blue area would we take it? Well, you can look at where you've seen previous levels of support, and those tend to be pretty good zones for reversals. So, trading in this area could play out, and then you can take it to equal highs. If you see more imbalance, then, I mean, that's also an option. It's really up to you and what exit strategies you've seen work for yourself. The highest probability for exit would be just to fill this imbalance into something like this. If you feel like there's, another target that just makes sense, then do that too. But this here is easy. And then this is, let's say, maybe you're looking at 30-point stop, and then you're running for, 70 points. So, 2.5R, give or take. So something like this could definitely play out. It's just it's a little unusual timing, but it's not unperfect. What's up? What's up? Where did you gather these insights? Honestly, man, just being in front of the charts for 30,000 hours probably probably just has done it. Yeah. A lot of it is observation, trial and error. It's the best teacher, to be honest, and I didn't have, myself. So it was just eating shit for a long time. I had some couple key people that just had me, look at the markets a little different from the beginning, like just understanding technicals. But, yeah. So those helped, but I think the biggest thing, like, there's some key things that kind of put you in the right direction, and then from there, it's just really building trust with your observation, and you start to do the things, and you actually, execute, and you press the buy or the sell button, or you exit the trade when you're supposed to. When not only have you seen it happen a whole bunch of times, but then you have the proof. Like you have all the data, you have the numbers, and you're like, okay, well, if I do these things, then it should be working out, this amount at the time, and it should have profitable outcomes. And so that's why, like, when you just start to do it over and over and over again, and you can just follow the exact same processes, then you have so much more confidence in doing it. Question that was asked was, couldn't I just scale in until it gets to my POI with that area? There's no guarantee that it's going to get there right now. So, for example, we don't know that it's going to drop right now. So if you started buying here and buying here, like, you could start buying, but we don't know if it's going to happen here. Or maybe, are you saying you would sell up until it gets to here? Because for all we know, this could go up again, and then later, tomorrow, get down to here. And you have to deal with all of this drawdown. So, yeah, there's no really guarantee on when we get to this zone, just that it can get there. And some of these areas take a long time. Like, for example, there was a buy that we were waiting for this one here, that we took a buy here on January 2nd. And it was a shame because I like this buy, but I had to close it because of, on one of my accounts, I had to close it because of futures, it just ends. They turn what's it called? They close all the positions like 50 minutes before the end of the day. So that was unfortunate. But with other accounts, I was able to swing this a little bit more. But this one, for example, this didn't trigger till January 2nd. And the original sell-off was December 20th. So imagine, you see it sweep and it starts to make a move and you're like, oh, well, it should get down here. So let me just sell it until it gets to the zone. Well, then you would have had to withstand, 800, 900 points of drawdown until it came back. And this could have taken days, weeks, months, years. So, yeah, I would just kind of, you don't want to be in a place where you're kind of hoping for ideas. It's just, you're better off just trading it once it's at the zone instead of hoping that it gets there. But yeah, here's NAS 100. Here's the setup. Let's see if we can get there. All right, so that's that. Now, to zoom out a little more, I'm curious with US 30 because we did sweep below on US 30 today, and then we end up kind of ending the day up here. So if you look at the daily with US 30, it is looking, it still ends up closing bullish. So it was a big move up, but then it lost a lot of momentum. So, I mean, US 30 looks like it could, if it wanted to, work its way down a bit more. Like maybe we get down to some of this right here, because here we had that sweep and then it just ran. US 30 could come looking for positions over here, so that's a possibility. Because here right now with US 30 we had a big move up, so there's massive positions that open up right here, drive price higher. So this lures in buyers, liquidates sellers, and then absolutely melts away. And when we see something like this, I mean, this works its way down, and it's closing below previous structures. This is confirming bearish with US 30. NAS, on the other hand, is not as bearish. This is definitely much more bullish. So it's kind of interesting to see, and we'll have a bit more context as this evolves, because we might just see this continue on up, and this could just become a reaccumulation, and that's it. But if we end up just still trading down here for a lot longer, then there is a good chance we can get some selling opportunities up in this zone, and yeah, go from there. So this is definitely one to keep your eye on for US 30. We've seen the market reverse around these areas, 42, like right around 4,300. You've seen some pretty quality levels of reversals at 43.50 here, here, here. So we may be in deep pullback territory for US 30. That might be a possibility. That opens up quite a bit of a good risk reward. So with indices, I'm not going to give you guys any ideas with US 30 quite yet, just because I'm not sure if this is a reaccumulation or if this is the distribution that we're really waiting for. It could go either way. Considering that NAS is staying pretty bullish and these drops are pretty short-lived, you can kind of tell, like, it gets down and there's really not a demand. When price gets below 21,500, it just doesn't stay down there. It just keeps coming back up. So we might just continue to rally with NAS. Okay, so that kind of takes care of a lot of the market, actually. Oil, right? You guys asked me about oil. So oil, ooh, okay. I like this. So, all right, we'll zoom out and then we'll zoom back in. I already see the setup. So oil, oh man, and this filled the gap pretty nicely and then dropped. So I talked about this, I think it was, yesterday or throughout this week and last week, how the market oil could look to fill some of this gap and then drop. And that's kind of what happened now. So we got into the zone where the market could rebalance this here. So we got a little bit of a gap right there. So market comes into that area. Some of you maybe just took your position there just because you were feeling it. But what we now have happening is we had higher highs, higher lows, and brief higher highs. And when the market comes up to here, it loses momentum, and it loses momentum quick. So check this out. You got resistance. And then from here, you see this bad boy just pop right up there. Here's a little move, New York session. Everyone gets excited. It's going up. And then drops down and continues its way down and has stayed down here. So when the market, kind of breaks below a low, don't get too eager, right? You want these lows, these structures, these breaks of structures or change of character or whatever, you want it to prove itself. Because if it just comes down and right back up, then this is not a shift in trend. This is just a liquidation, and it could just be clearing out buyers. It could be luring in sellers. But when the market does this and it stays down here, then we know, okay, there is definitely demand for price below 73.50. Like, it's been very clear for the last 8 hours and a half. It's trading down here. Fantastic. So what do we know? We know that there was retail sellers. We know that there's, big money that opens positions to drive price higher. They do this intentionally, right, to liquidate sellers, lure in buyers, and then now the market goes down. So here we can definitely see, maybe something like this where the market gets to the zone, and from here we can get a nice sell-off. Now, we'll kind of see, depending on how the market is, depending on how we work our way up to here, we may get a full extension down. It may not do the whole thing. it's gonna depend on the market environment as a whole. So we don't want to force and just say like, oh, of course it's excuse me, guys. Just because I'm getting in now, then it's got to be a massive, epic swing trade. And everyone ever, like, you're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm the one that's calling the most legendary swing of all time. Every time I get into the market, it's got to be a swing trade. And that's not always going to be the case. So right now, I think the 15-minute bearish for sure. With that, I see it. Is it going to be a, swing position sell? I don't know yet. I want to see the market kind of prove itself. And I actually don't think that's going to be the case. So I'm okay with, awareness is important. So this is a counter trend trade. Why? Well, because this has just been on a rampage, bullish, for weeks. So selling is going against momentum. That is, I think, just pretty fucking obvious. So, cool. That's cool. We can sell. We can catch some of this. We don't need to, you don't have to catch the whole thing. Just a little. Grab some, collect it. Because one of the downsides to having great entry models, which is what you guys have learned with myself, is that the issue that I see with so many traders is that they only focus on the entry, but they have no idea when's the right time to pay themselves. So if you're counter trend, probabilities tell you that it's not going to just keep going your way because you want it to, but you can catch something inside of the range. Yeah, you can do that. That's not a problem. That's a likely exit. So whether you're exiting down here, maybe even higher, just depending on the setup, yeah, I think that's a chance. So anyways, here's what I got for you guys. Maybe it does work its way down and we get all the way down where we have this huge sell-off. That's possible. But as of right now, considering we're just starting to kind of see a flip in structure, I don't need that whole movement. If we can't think about this. Imagine the market gets to here and you take your sell right here. You have a stop of, this is a light stop. We're looking at like 33 pips or something. Cool. And then you take this, you work down to this area, say catch a 3R. That's incredible. You risk whatever your risk might be 3 times more. That's a good day. So you don't need the whole, you don't need weeks of movement. You just gotta take probable exits. That's long term what will serve you. So here you have U.S. oil. Buen provecho. Here you go. All right. So that kind of leaves us there. So yeah, man. Here's a hour of chart markups. We went through quite a bit. Hold on. You guys asked for Euro odd. I'm not going to leave you hanging. I got you. Euro AUD. Okay. So, all right. So this is what I see. We'll go from left to right. We see a sweep. There was choppy, pump, dump. So you see that push to the upside, and we're going to zoom in on this just to make sure we actually mark this up precisely. Okay, so let's go to the 30. Zoom in here. So yeah, from here you see the market get some aggressive movement, rebalances, melts away. And let me just zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, okay, so I like that. So yeah, this definitely clears consolidation. This was Asian ring consolidation. And then London session takes these highs, pre-London, and then it just works its way down. So this could be a combination of Euro or AUD, and then it works its way lower. Right now, the market has done a great job basically creating this trend line here. So retail buying, it's happening here, no problem. So probably see something like that roll through at some point. Then we just had a consolidation here throughout New York session, going into Asian session. So, I mean, do I have any entries here right now? at this instant, no. But could this sell be a great position? It could, definitely. Most definitely. And you can take a look at maybe like GBP odd. Maybe it has something similar. Looks like it kind of does. This happened on January 2nd, 115. So yeah, I think Euro odd was relatively similar. Yeah, really similar. So, I mean, you have both of these that you can keep in mind. Mark them up, draw them up, see what alert triggers first. And yeah, take your swing at whichever one of these gets there last. That would be my opinion. Now, GBP odd looks like a much better, it looks like a great buy position. So you have, I didn't even know this was here, but I'm just noticing it right now. You have retail buying up this trend line. You have a big sweep to the low. This pushes down. This obliterates all those buyers. And then the market rallies. We now have confirmation of a bullish trend. Trade off New York session here. End the day here strongly. And so, yeah, this could look like a good buy position as well. So that's what you got going on there. And honestly, the drop was pretty decent. Came down to here. Played into the zone. We might still have more buying. So because there's another zone down here, this might just kind of bounce, give us some good gains, and then drop again. So it doesn't mean you have to, swing this idea either. But just giving you guys some perspective with GBP odd. And then if GBP odd looks like this for a good buy, then maybe GBP NZD looks similar. Yeah, GBP NZD also swept and then came up. But it's already working its way down pretty fast. So GBP odd definitely looks like it can hold up much better. So I'm going to put up an alert here, and then I'm going to share this with you guys. And there you have it. So I know I moved very quickly today. It was not so much of a, hey, let me teach you exactly how to trade and how I trade session. I just wanted to throw a hilarious amount of setups at you guys and have you learn from that yourselves and go through and figure that out. So there's a ton of setups. I wish you the absolute best. For those of you that plug in with me on a daily basis, then I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Oh, let me get that right there. I'll see you guys tomorrow, New York session. And then for the rest of you, we'll be back here again next Monday. And 2025 should be a pretty epic year for tons and tons of free value. You actually have no idea what's coming. So anyways, guys, enjoy. Much love. Study up. Stay disciplined. And just keep going. All right, just keep going, guys. Appreciate y'all. Till next time.